Hi guys, Ray here from City Fan TV, and you'll recognise Bobby Seagull with his shirt in the background. How you doing, Bobby?
Cacao, Seagull. I always have to do it. If I was a footballer, pro footballer, and I scored, that would be my celebration. Like Antonio does like some crazy ones. I go to the corner of the field and go, cacao. But, you know.
Bobby, you're a card man. You're a card. Obviously, guys, you can tell Bobby Seagull isn't a Brighton fan. I have to tell everybody that up front. He is a Hammers fan, West Ham women's team. Come on, you Irons.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And yeah, look, guys, we're here to talk about the game between Man City and West Ham women at the weekend. That's coming up in the FA Women's Super League. Obviously, important game at each end of the table. So I'm going to give you an opportunity straight away, Bobby, to tell everybody a little bit about yourself, so people, if they want to check you out, they know where to go to check you out.
Yes, so I am Bobby Seagull. Professionally, actually, I'm a school maths teacher. So if you don't like maths, look away from now. Maybe not. But I was on the quiz show University Challenge, captain of a Cambridge team back in 2016-17. I went viral, and on the back of that, the BBC gave me my own road trip series. I've been a sort of now published author of a couple of books. Actually, I'm an ambassador for West Ham and the Premier League, like trying to show kids that using maths to make football and maths come to life. So I'm just, and if people want to look it up, if you want to keep in touch with me, I'm at Bobby_Seagull on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, all the things. But I'm like, football for me is my great passion in life. I think it's like, I now try and use it as a way to engage people about mathematics. Because when we're going to chat about results and scores and league tables, form, a lot of numbers and analysis goes on.
Yeah, well, everyone on my channel knows me. I'm a numbers man. That's my background, maths and arithmetic and finance and accounting and stuff like that. So I'm very much at home listening to anything about maths and teaching. So excellent. Obviously, West Ham. We're going to start off with latest news, and we're recording this on Thursday evening. I think the transfer window closes today, and I was going to start off by asking about Alisha Lehmann, who's gone on loan to Everton. But you've just signed a new player, and I will let you try and pronounce this Icelandic footballer, Bobby. Go on. Who have you signed?
Okay, so this is literally hot off the press, and I actually saw this as I was signing in to our conversation. Like, West Ham Women's Twitter account, they made an announcement, and we just announced visiting the old Upton Park wearing a Hammers kit. So she's a proper Hammer. Her name is Icelandic. It's Dagný Brynjarsdóttir. So if you're at Dagnis, can you come and correct your pronunciations so we get it correct? But she's joined us, 29-year-old midfield player, played in Icelandic leagues and the US, but she's joined us literally in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah. I think she had a season at Bayern Munich as well. So it's an interesting one. She's, I think we had a quick check. She's a midfielder who's got a reasonable number of goals. I think she's it's about 1 in 3 or something like that is a scoring record, which is a reasonable return. Because you lost Alisha Lehmann. Now, if you guys haven't seen it, go and check out the series. It's they've had 2 series so far on the West Ham women's football team, basically fly in the wall documentary on the BBC. I think that's still available on the iPlayer. And Alisha Lehmann, I think we talked earlier, was a bit of a fan's favourite. A striker, she scored, I think she's your top scorer last season, scored a bundle of goals for you last season. Mm-hmm. An exciting player and someone who you'd have thought you'd wanted to keep hold of. So this Everton move, do you know anything about the reasons why she's ended up at Everton?
Yeah, so it's a interesting word I'll use. So I know like the story behind it, Alisha, is she impressed apparently the previous manager who left, before Ollie Harder joined us. She impressed at the 2018 women's under-19 UEFA Championship. And Switzerland were hosting, she's on home territory, did really well. And then we're like, Matt Beard said, let's bring her to the WSL. She had part of that season where we got to the FA Cup final. PFA Young Player of the Year, one of the nominees. So again, one of our star players. And in fact, on social media as well, a bit of a superstar. 1.7 million Instagram followers. So she's a player that adds value in the field. And commercially, when you're trying to grow a franchise, try and grow a club, she obviously brings in people to our organization. And personally, I am sad that she's left the club. Because again, I watched, one of the reasons I got into WSL is I watched the BBC Three documentary, Britain's Youngest Football Boss, and Squad Goals, which showed West Ham when they moved to the WSL. But the way I always see these things is, even though I am sad because Everton have got a great player on the hand, she just turned actually 22 last week. So happy birthday, Alisha. So she's a really young player, lots of promise. But I always think you got to trust management of your club, the manager, the owner structure, because they obviously have their reasons, the dressing room. We don't know, like personality clashes, all those things. So I'm hoping they made the right decision. And to be honest, it is a loan. It's not a sale. If she does well and things turn around, she could be back in the summer. But again, the fact that we bought someone just today, the Icelandic lady, let's get it right, Dagný Brynjarsdóttir, suggests perhaps it might be something with a view to a permanent transfer.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it'll be a shame to lose Alisha because, as I said, she scored a lot of goals last season, and I think her goals are important. And as you say, she's still very, very young. A lot of potential. So, if for your sake, if you can get her back in the summer, and it might just be Everton. There's no argument about it. I think Everton are fifth in the league. They're in the right end of the table. A lot of young players, they want to develop their careers. They want to play at a higher level, and you can understand that. But maybe things will come out in the wash once the transfer window closes, and maybe we'll hear something in the near future. Let's talk about your latest results, because you haven't played that much football. Obviously, the Women's League has a winter break, and then we've had all these COVID issues, which is why the original game was called off. So you've actually only played twice since the 13th of December. Which is almost 6 weeks ago. It's a long time ago. City played, I think, 3 times since then. I mean, we've had some good results. It's a bit frightening when you look at our last 6 league results. We've had 5 wins and a draw.
I know, I've seen that.
Yeah, and in those games, we've beaten Bristol City 8-1. We beat Brighton, I think was that 7-1.
7-1, yeah.
And we won 7-0 at the weekend. So yeah, it's a bit frightening there. So are you worried that you've only played 2 games since you've been, in the last 6 weeks, or 2 games recently? So is that going to help you that you played 2 recently, or what do you think about that?
I think okay, obviously we've got a new manager now, Ollie. He's getting his new setup. We've got different, for example, Kate Longhurst is back in the team. We obviously let go of Alisha Lehmann. So he is trying to bring his own mark and brand to the club. And for that, you do need more games. Obviously, you can work hard in training, but I think it's only on the battlefield, 90 minutes or longer for cup, that you can really assess the team. So I am concerned because I don't think our fortunes in the league depend on our results against the likes of City, Man United, Chelsea. Obviously, we want to keep it respectable, because I know City was a 7 against Brighton, you said 7 against Villa, 8 against Bristol. When City on form, it could be a rout. And this year, there's only one game that I felt like, wow, it just gone all wrong. It was against Arsenal right at the start of the season. I think he got sent off the 34th minute, our captain. She's normally inspirational, but red card. Then we went on to concede 9. And I don't want that. So it's one of those things where, obviously, when you enter a professional match, you want to win it, but it is Man City. So I think it's like, let's play tight. Let's keep it respectable. But it's the games after, like, again, we got Bristol after, Brighton away. They're the ones that you want to win. But at the same time, if you're West Ham, you're playing against the likes of Ellen White, Kelly, Stanway, Houghton. You want to perform against the very best. So, of course, it's an opportunity for players to show the new boss that actually I'm willing to take on the very best in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. On a positive note, I'm going to talk about that dreaded R word of relegation in a minute. But on a more positive note, for you guys. You're into the semi-finals of the Continental Cup, the League Cup, against the team that vanquished City during the last week, 4-2. I think they knocked us out. Chelsea, and for me anyway, Chelsea are by far the best team in this league. Not want to say by far, but they're clear at the top. They haven't lost any games this season. They've beaten us in the last, I think, 3 times we played them. What do you rate your chances are playing Chelsea?
A tough proposition going away to Chelsea. So on paper, any neutral looking at it go, of course, it's Chelsea win. But I'm going to take it back to, I think back in December, we played Chelsea in the league. And at the time, I think they were on 10 or 11 straight wins at home. Every neutral would have said, of course, Chelsea are going to put 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 past West Ham. But in the end, it was only 3-2 we lost. And partly that was because it was an amazing hat-trick by Kerr. And Kirby did the setups. So it took a top-class performance by Kerr to defeat us that day. So it shows that in this division, while there's clearly, even the club will acknowledge, there's some teams at the top. You got your Chelsea, Man United, City, Arsenal, who are the best clubs, and then clubs sort of in the middle who are trying to push. And we, at our best, we can be pushing towards that middle, I hope. But Chelsea are in that batch of elite clubs. So it's going to be tough. But I would say if we can channel that energy that when we play them in the league, only lost 3-2, anything is possible. Would I put money on our ladies team to get through? Probably not. It's not one of those games, but cup. We see the magic of the cup in the men's cup. Anything can happen. And we got form in the FA Cup a couple of years ago. We got to the final. It'd be lovely to get to a Conti Cup final. Again, it's going to be very tough. Chelsea looking like the team to beat this year.
Oh, absolutely. And when you look at the other semi-final is between Bristol City, who are bottom of the table. Their goal difference is -43 after 11 games. They've got 2 points from those 11 games against Leicester City, who are not even in the WSL. So, you've got to think I think we said, a lot of people said the winner of Chelsea and City, you'd expect them to win it. And I'll say the same thing here, the winner of Chelsea and West Ham, you'd expect them to win the Conti Cup. And it's just one of those things, you're 2 games away from lifting silverware, which I guess when you got into sport in West Ham, you had no idea. You couldn't have even dreamt that you could win some silverware.
Yeah, because again, like with our men's team, the last time we won silverware, I think is it 80? So it's a long time. We got to the cup final against the FA Cup final against Liverpool, and Gerrard last minute equalizer stopped us from winning that trophy. So to come to the women's game and see, we've got to a cup final, lost to Man City, and we're on the semi-final. So I think it's, to be honest, if you're a follower of a club, you follow clubs, obviously, you may be from locality, you've got connection, but also you want to see success. So the fact that West Ham are in the Premier League, are challenging for getting to semis and finals of cups, does make it an attractive proposition as a supporter.
Yeah, I know the men's team, it's been a very, very long time since you won anything. I'm just having a quick look on Wikipedia. And
the Intertoto Cup, I think.
Sorry?
In the early 2000s.
You won the FA Cup the last time, if you remember, it was in 79-80. You won the League Cup in 81. Yeah. And that's it. Is that the last one, I think? FA Cup in 1980, League Cup in 81. So it is a very, very, very long time ago. Apart from Intertoto Cup, if you want to include that, was in 1999. But it's been a long time. So for the women's team to get to a final would be amazing. But obviously, you've got to overcome the giants that are Chelsea. So let's look at that relegation. We talked about it off air. Last season, you were, I think, fortunate in some respects. And anyone near the bottom was fortunate that Liverpool were so abysmal last season. And they propped up the table and they hardly scored any points. This season, once again, there's a team that pretty much cut adrift. And they've had that's Bristol City. They've had a horrible season, as I mentioned earlier. They've played 11 games, won nothing. They haven't won a single game. They've drawn 2, lost 9, and their goal difference is a ridiculous -43. So that's basically saying, on average, they're losing 4-0 every game.
Yeah.
which is frightening. But on the other hand, they're only 5 points off Aston Villa and West Ham. So you guys are third bottom, and you're playing Bristol City soon, and that is going to be the proverbial 6 points. I think if you win that, you'll be safe because you can't see Bristol City turning it around. But if they win, they'll be 2 points behind you, and that's got to be a worry. So are you worried at all about relegation? And if you were relegated, what would that mean to West Ham women's team?
Yeah, so obviously I am worried because we're only 5 points above. And this year we can't seem to win at home ball. We've won 2 games, Bristol and Birmingham, both are away. So obviously we've beaten Bristol once. So again, City this weekend, I want just to come up with a result that's respectable and the players give it all. But I'm not expecting any points. The reality is. But the game after, we got Bristol at home. And we've not won at home in the... I think in the Conti we've won, but not in the crucial game. And if we lose that, Bristol get a bit of confidence and we're dragged right back in. Then again, the players' confidence could drop as well. And I personally think we'll be fine because if you just look at the league table, Bristol they've scored only 6 goals. We scored 13, so double. They just can't score. And they conceded 49, double us. So we scored double the number of goals and we've conceded half the number of goals. So we should on paper beat them, but on their day, who knows? And again, if we got relegated, again, a lot of this from watching the documentary on BBC, Britain's Youngest Football Boss and Squad Goals. Sullivan's explained, the owner, again, he's a fabulous guy, really inspirational, wanting to drive the club, make them into one of the leading women's outfits. He's saying that if the club did get relegated, it challenged the whole infrastructure of the club because the club don't want to be funded by men's. They are a separate organization, depending on their, club revenues, ticket gates, commercial sponsorship. And if we're down a division, that becomes so much more, it's all in jeopardy. And some of our top players, good contracts, can we keep them? It puts the whole project under scrutiny. So the game against Bristol, it's a must. In fact, it's the single most important game of our season. Win that, then we can start thinking about the following season. Lose that, and I'm worried for the club's short-term future.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's not a lot of money, if we're honest, in the women's game. The bigger money's at the top end of the league and in Europe and whatever. At West Ham's level, when players are on, I think the average is at 20 or 30,000 a season.
About 30 grand, yeah.
Yeah, for a women's player in the FAWSL. If you drop a division and you ask people to take wage cuts, can they afford to play? I think that's the question. I mean, we saw there's earlier in at some point in last year, I forgot the player's name, a Watford player who had, and Watford are in the Championship, I think. She had a knee injury, either a cruciate or anterior ligament injury, and she couldn't afford to. The club wouldn't pay for her to have an operation, and I think she said it was 15,000 if she went private. She couldn't afford it on the wages in the Championship, and I think she was going to crowdfunding it because she said, and it's probably just as well just to give up professional football, because if I have to wait a year to have the operation and then it'll take another year to rehab, that's 2 years out of football, and it's really hard to have your motivation and everything else. It's a really sad thing. So you can see the finances are so perilous. If you were to drop down, you could end up losing 2 or 3 of your better players, which obviously makes it really difficult to get back up. So it's going to be interesting, but there's going to be a lot riding on that game against Bristol City. So we'll see what happens on the relegation front. And then, as you said, if you can win that game, you can start planning for the rest of the season, planning for next season and how you start to inch your way up this table. So my last question is going to be about the City game. If you want to ask me anything, obviously you can. What's the score going to be? And City have, in the league, we've scored 7 in our last 2 games. Are you worried, that we could
the last time we visited you guys, we'd lost 5-0, and then was Stanway scored a couple and got a red card. We lost 3-0 in the cup final. Before that, we lost 5-2 before. So it seems like 5 is like the magic number.
It's a magic number.
I almost like I don't want to jinx West Ham because if we turn around, but if we can keep it without putting a number on it, keep it respectable, because we are playing one of the elite clubs in the division. So I think it's a chance for our players to show our manager, Oli Harder, that we are up for the fight to make sure we stay in the league, put out performance. And again, if City play their top game, most teams in the division, especially in the lower half, would concede 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the way it's going to happen. So if we can keep it respectable, put our best performance, that's all I can ask for. Because let's be honest, City are, in the elite band of teams at the top of the division. So I'm not going to put a number because
City, come on, Bobby, man. You got to put a number.
Okay, I'm going to say let's say 5-1.
5-1. I'm not even going to give you a goal, Bobby. I'm not even going to give you that pleasure of getting a goal. But I like the number 5 that you mentioned. I'm going to go for 5-0. Like you say, City. We've got the players. We've done really well in the last couple of league games against teams who are near the bottom, like Villa. And I just think we are purring. There's a lot of competition for places at City, which obviously is a good thing. Right from defence to midfield, out wide. Lauren Hemp's back and she's on fire. She's missed half the season. She wants to make up for that. Got Chloe Kelly on the other side. Ellen White, striker, or Georgia Stanway, midfield. I'm not sure if our American players will be playing because they've come back. They came back to play against Man United apparently, so they're back. I'm not sure if they will play or not. And then obviously we got loads of defenders, and I just think players have to, for City, be on the top of their game to be considered for the next game. It's just a crazy thing that you got. Gemma Bonner's been a fantastic centre back, and she can't get in the side because Alex Greenwood's there, and now we've just got Abby Dahlkemper from the States, who's another centre back who's a World Cup winner. So if you want to be in that team, you've got to be performing, and it has to, and you have to put teams to the sword and be consistent. So I think the defenders do not want to let you score because it affects their chances of playing the next game. And the midfield and attack have to score lots of goals because otherwise they might not be in the next game. We've got, it's a crazy situation where we talk about players like Rose Lavelle, World Cup winner, not getting in the team. We've got Sam Mewis and Caroline Weir and Kira Walsh in midfield. And we've got Laura Coombs, who's been playing really well, and Rose Lavelle. So you've got 5 players for 3 spots. You've got to be on the top of your game. So I think I can't see you getting anything from this game. If you don't let 7 in, is that a triumph not to let 7 in? I don't know.
I don't know. As a manager, Ollie Harder, what do you say in the dressing room? Girls go out there, let's not concede 7. I think you've always going positive, but it's,
that's not the kind of team talk you want to hear. I think it's just it'll be keep it tight, play the way,
Don't concede early. This is one of those games where if you concede a couple of goals in the first 10 minutes, then you're just opening the floodgates. Try and get to the 5th minute, the 10th minute, just keep on building.
You've got to have little targets. First 10 minutes, keep it tight, play the game, the game we've planned. And don't make mistakes. That's one of the worst things is to, I think when you make a mistake and the opposition take advantage and score a goal, that can really weigh on your mind. And then, like you say, if you get 2 goals in the first 15, 20 minutes, you start to feel, the energy goes and it's hard to push yourself. Whereas if you sneak a goal, you got that energy to try and hold on to it, that motivation, the drive. So it's going to be another interesting game between the 2 clubs, and I just, as usual, hope it's a good game. And
the thing is, if someone does score on your side, which they will do probably, the person I want to score is Ellen White, because she's one of the reasons I got into women's football. Again, I watched the Women's World Cup, saw her get 6 again, winning the Golden Boot, and what is the celebration she does?
Inverted eyes. I can't do it. It's like that.
Ellen White celebration. How does he do it? Can you show? Yeah. So Ellen White is one of my heroes in women's football. So if anyone's happening to score against us, I hope it's Ellen White.
That's great. Thanks a lot, Bobby, for coming on tonight, mate. It's been wonderful. It's been a pleasure. Lovely to talk to you. And guys, if you wanna get into mathematics, or you want to learn a little bit, go and check out Bobby's channels, and you will learn hopefully a lot from Bobby. Stick that up, Bobby. There you go. Bobby Seagull TV. Fantastic, mate. Lovely to have you on the channel, and hopefully we'll do this again next season.
Exactly.
if you stay up.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that.
Cheers, Bobby.